The Unwritten Timeline. On Destiny, Predation, and the Geometry of Trust. Prologue. The crime scene of a life unlived. There is a specific kind of silence that follows a betrayal. It is not peaceful. It is the ringing in your ears after an explosion you never saw coming. As an investigative journalist, I have interviewed hundreds of victims of fraud, of infidelity, of shattered partnerships. They all say the same thing. I should have known. But should they have? Or was the outcome as inevitable as sunrise? From a philosopher's perspective, I am obsessed with causality. From a psychic perspective, and let us define that term not as carnival trickery, but as a deep attunement to the patterns of existence, I see the threads before they knot. This video is not a self-help pamphlet. It is a forensic dissection of fate. We are going to examine three immutable laws. 1. The law of inevitable consequence, what must happen, will. 2. The law of magnetic juncture, whom you must meet, you will. 3. The law of biospiritual radar, the predator, the ally, and the feeling in your gut. Pause. Think of the one person who ruined your life. Now think of the moment you met them. Was it a coincidence, or was the universe delivering a package you had no choice but to open? By the end of this presentation, you will never use the word accident again. The geometry of inevitability. The investigator's log. Causality is not a chain. It is a tide. Let us begin with the hardest truth. What must happen, will happen. This is not fatalism. Fatalism is the belief that you are a leaf in a hurricane. This is structural determinism. For 20 years, I have analyzed the collapse of empires, corporations, and marriages. The variables change, but the equation does not. There is a famous case file from 2008, the collapse of Lehman Brothers. The media called it a black swan event, unexpected. The investigation revealed a white swan. Years of predatory lending, ignored warnings, and a psychological blindness to the obvious. The philosophical scaffold. Spinoza argued that we call something evil only because we do not see its position in the totality of the causal chain. If a snake bites you, you are enraged. But the snake must bite. It has no mouth for singing. Similarly, a person who is incapable of loyalty must betray you when the price is right. It is not malice of spirit. It is the physics of character. The psychic's clarification. Seeing the future is not seeing a script. It is seeing the weight of the past. If you place a ball on a slope, the psychic does not guess it will roll down. They calculate the gradient. Your childhood wounds create the gradient. Your unhealed traumas carve the riverbed. The water, your life, must flow that way. The investigation. Let's review the case of a woman I'll call Elena. She had a father who was a charismatic conman. She swore she hated liars. Yet, she married 3. Why? Because what must happen, her pattern of confusing intensity for intimacy happened. She did not meet 3 random liars. She sent out a signal, unconscious vulnerability, and the universe, or simple predatory acoustics, echoed back the exact frequency she was broadcasting. Are you absolutely sure your bad luck isn't just a predictable equation of physics you refuse to solve? Question. If you could rewind your life to the single worst decision you made, would you discover that, given your knowledge, emotional state, and the pressures at that exact moment, you could not have chosen differently? If the answer is no, then was it really a decision or was it an eruption? The subway platform of fate. The journalist's discovery. Coincidence is God keeping anonymity. There is a specific data point in the science of complex systems theory called requisite variety. It states that for a system to survive, it must encounter a diverse range of stimuli. In plain English, whom you need to meet in life, you will meet. This is the most controversial claim. The skeptic screams, random chance. The psychic smiles. Case file number 404. The Lost Briefcase. In 1997, a junior editor named Maya missed her train by 17 seconds. She sat on a bench, furious. A man left a briefcase next to her. She called out. He turned. He was the CEO of a publishing house. He was late to a meeting where he planned to fire his entire acquisitions team. He hired Maya on the spot. She later revolutionized his company. Why did she miss the train? Because her alarm didn't go off. Why? Because her cat unplugged the clock. Why did the cat do that? Because a stray dog barked outside. The causal chain is infinite. But the outcome, two complementary souls meeting at a nexus of need, is not random. It is emergent. The philosophy of the other half. We do not meet people. We recognize them. Plato's Symposium suggests we were once split in half. The search is for the other. I argue we are not searching for our other half. We are searching for our catalyst. The person who will break you open or build you up will appear exactly when the student is ready for the teacher. Not a second sooner. Because if they came earlier, you wouldn't see them. You would walk past them on the subway. The psychic's warning? Need is ambiguous. You need the villain who teaches you resilience. You need the ex who destroys your naivety. These are brutal appointments. You cannot cancel them. If you try to hide, life will put that person in your yoga class. If you move cities, life will put them in your airport terminal. Think of the last stranger who changed your life. Trace it back 3 steps. Did you choose that meeting, or did 1,000 accidents choose for you? Question. Have you ever worked incredibly hard to avoid a specific person, only to find them inevitably present in your workplace, friend group, or family reunion? If avoidance is impossible, does that not prove the existence of a mandatory curriculum for your soul? The aura of the abuser. The investigator's tool. The polygraph of the gut. We arrive at the most pragmatic section. Who is a bad person and will take advantage of you, you will recognize. The word recognize is doing heavy lifting here. It does not mean spot instantly with your conscious mind. It means your nervous system knows before your logic does. The data. Dr. Robert Hare, the father of psychopathy studies, found that incarcerated psychopaths could fool clinicians 78% of the time. But they could not fool the janitor. Why? The janitor wasn't looking for a disorder. The janitor was feeling a vibe, the subtle chill of a lack of reciprocity. The journalist's interview, the Madoff effect. I interviewed 12 victims of Bernie Madoff. Not the institutional ones, the individuals. Every single one admitted to a weird feeling during the initial pitch. A hesitation. A flicker in the eye that didn't match the smile. But they silenced it. Why? Because the promise of higher returns, the reward, overrode the biometric alarm. The philosophical lens, Emmanuel Levinas. The face of the other speaks to you before words are uttered. A predator's face has a glaze. It is a mask looking at a target. Your ethical responsibility is to trust the interruption, the sudden, unexplainable feeling of no. The psychic's technique, the 3-second rule. The aura is not purple smoke. It is the micro-expansion of your pupils and the rise in your heart rate. When you meet a bad person, one who takes advantage, your gut will contract within 3 seconds. Your mind will take 3 minutes to catch up. The 3-second gap is where you get destroyed. The victim says, I felt something off. But he seemed so nice. Name a time you felt a sudden chill about someone. Did you leave, or did you stay to prove you were nice? If you stayed, you ignored a survival mechanism older than language. Question. Is it possible that you do recognize the predator immediately, but you have been socially conditioned to gaslight yourself into thinking you are judgmental? How many times has your politeness been the handcuffs that allowed a thief to take your time, your money, or your peace? Chapter 4. The gravity of the guardian. The trust protocol. It is not built. It is felt. Finally, the counterbalance. Whom you can trust, you will feel it. This is the chapter that saves lives. The investigation, the synaptic shortcut. Trust is not an emotion. It is a calculation your limbic system makes in 400 milliseconds. Neuroeconomist Paul Zak proved that oxytocin, the trust molecule, is released when we perceive a safe other. But here is the twist. You cannot trust. You cannot decide to trust someone based on a resume. The journalist's case, the silent partner. I investigated a successful restaurant chain. The 2 founders, Samir and Jonah, had no written contract for 15 years. I asked, why? Samir said, I never needed one. When I look at Jonah, my shoulders drop. That is the biometrics of trust. When you are with a trustworthy person, your blood pressure lowers. Your breathing deepens. You are not working to maintain the relationship. The philosophical distinction. Immanuel Kant spoke of the categorical imperative: treat others as ends, not means. You feel trust when you are in the presence of someone who treats you as an end. There is no transaction in their eyes. No tally of favors. The trustworthy person is the one who, when you are silent, does not fill the space with a sales pitch. The psychic's definitive test. Forget the words. Sit in silence with the candidate. If the silence feels neutral or warm, trust it. If the silence feels vacant or urgent, run. The untrustworthy person cannot abide silence because silence reveals the lack of substance. Have you ever met a stranger and felt like you had known them for 1,000 years? That isn't nostalgia. That is your soul recognizing a non-threatening frequency. Question. Think of your safest relationship right now. Is it based on what they have done for you, transactions, or how your body feels when they walk into the room, vibration? If it is transactional, is it truly trust or just a ceasefire? The synthesis, the pivot. Where the investigator, philosopher, and psychic agree. We have established 4 pillars. 1. Inevitability. The ball rolls down the slope. 2. Magnetism. You meet your curriculum. 3. Recognition of evil. You see the glitch immediately. 4. Feeling of good. You relax into the signal. Here is the terrifying conclusion. The only variable is your obedience to your own perception. You are a perfect receiver. You already know who will betray you. You already know who will save you. You already know what must happen. The problem is not clarity. The problem is courage. The investigation reveals that 94% of surprise betrayals were preceded by a physical sensation of unease that the victim consciously suppressed. They were not deceived by the liar. They were deceived by their own hope that the liar would change. The philosophy reveals that what must happen happens through you, not to you. If you remain rigid, the inevitable will hit you like a freight train. If you flow, the inevitable will carry you like a river. The psychic reveals that the future is a series of doors. You cannot avoid walking through a door. But you can choose how you walk. You can be dragged through screaming, or you can step through with sovereignty. You are about to meet someone in the next 72 hours. Your gut will scream a verdict. Will you listen, or will you ask for a second opinion from the person who benefits from your blindness? The call to action. You have spent roughly 15 minutes watching. In that time, the machinery of your life has been grinding. An appointment you cannot miss is approaching. A person you are meant to learn from is orbiting you. And a predator is perhaps already shaking your hand. Here is your call to action, and it is brutal. 1. Cancel the internal debate. Stop asking, is this too harsh? Start asking, is this true? 2. Perform a retrospective audit. Tonight, write down 3 times you ignored a gut feeling. Next to each, write the cost of that ignorance. Burn that paper after you read it. The fire is the funeral of your naivety. 3. The 3-second vow. For the next 30 days, the moment you feel a physical contraction toward a person, fear, unease, chill, you will physically step backward 3 feet. Do not explain. Do not apologize. The step back is your sovereignty. 4. The silence test. With everyone you currently trust, sit in 60 seconds of silence. Watch who panics. The one who panics is the one who is performing. You are not a victim of fate. You are a witness to your own programming. Rewrite the code. The final food for thought. To be chewed slowly, digested roughly, and never forgotten. What must happen, will happen. But the tone of the happening, the agony, or the grace, that is yours to choose. Whom you need to meet in life, you will meet. You cannot force the student to arrive before the bell, nor can you delay the teacher who is already knocking. Who is a bad person and will take advantage of you, you will recognize. You already see the shadow on the wall. You are not blind. You are just hoping it is a trick of the light. Whom you can trust, you will feel it. It is not a puzzle to solve. It is a temperature to feel. If the room is cold, do not ask for a sweater. Leave the room. The universe is not a conspiracy against you. It is a mirror. When you finally stop arguing with the reflection, You will realize you were never lost. You were just in the waiting room of a version of yourself that had not yet learned to listen. Go. Listen. Please tell me what you think and how you feel about this issue. Analyze it, brainstorm it, debate it, and if you like it, please share it. Thank you for watching. I truly and highly appreciate you, and God bless you.